Good afternoon, Jan.
Michael, good morning. How are you?
Doing very well. How about you?
In trouble. In trouble.
Oh no.
Jinaga trouble. No, not really Jinaga trouble. Let's say WPF trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So very happy to see you.
Yes, yes. Well, fortunately, I did remember the thing that I was trying to remember last time, and it's much easier uh, than I was making it out to be. So yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Hopefully, we can get
with the
into that.
logical individual tree.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. We don't need to go down
Hmm.
tree tree searching. Um,
But
yeah.
I still want to know what is wrong with my ID,
Yes, yes.
um, because I think it will help me to understand the things.
Hmm.
Can I show
Yeah.
you what I was thinking first, and then you tell me what you remember about the solution?
Yes. Let's do that.
Um, let's see. Share. This one, Visual Studio. Um, Share. So, is that readable?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we had this overview screen
Mm-hmm.
with here on top the data grid, where we had in the left column the delete button, and then client and yard name.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem was that we could not identify the task, so the combination of client and yard, at the moment that we pressed the delete button.
Right.
We
Yes.
could identify it by using the selected row,
Mm-hmm.
but that was by accident a feature of that data grid.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to do it differently, but afterwards I say it's still that selected thing that we are using, but never mind. Let's have a look at this one first. So I have my button here. I say, okay, let's make a delete task comment.
Mm-hmm.
And that delete task comment is gonna be part of the task view model.
Yeah.
So the data grid here is bound to tasks, which is a collection of task view models.
Mm-hmm.
So the task view model before it had my client name and my yard name. It already had a
Mm-hmm.
public property task. So I have the task there that I want to delete. And so I say, okay, let's add a delete task comment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then I have multiple problems because, of course, the Jinaga client,
Mm-hmm.
I enter here the Jinaga client. Jinaga client is asynchronous. So I had a problem with this wait. We had that command processor last time,
Mm-hmm.
but that command processor is defined in the main project, which uses the view model project. And so
Mm.
I cannot use it in the other direction. So I could change it from place, but for the moment I haven't done that. I just put a debug print inside the delete task comment,
Yes.
and even that is not working.
Mm.
So if I start up, let me put, yeah, too late. I was rebuilding it. Yeah. But you don't see the window, I think. Eh?
I do not.
No. Okay, so there, this one. Now you should see it.
Yes.
I put the other one here. I add a first task. I No, we shouldn't stop here. Never mind. Continue. Let's add a second one just to make sure. Client B. Save. Now
Mm-hmm.
let's even select one.
Okay.
And then
Just to be sure.
I press delete,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing happens. I do
Hmm.
have a lot of binding
Oh, okay.
failures.
Clue might be in there. Yeah.
Um, Wait, then I have to show you the other screen again. So these binding failures are normal because that has not been implemented, but I
Mm-hmm.
have here delete task comment
Uh-huh.
from the button not found.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So actually, um,
But,
you're
but
heading
the
exactly
target
in the
type,
direction that I wanted to go. Yeah.
but the target type here is an I comment,
Mm-hmm.
and using the community framework, it's a relay comment,
True. Yes.
which inherits from I comment, I assume.
Yes, it does. Yes.
So it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but no, why?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is precisely the direction that I was thinking of going. Is that the uh, when you are now inside of the item template,
Mm,
the data context, that was the word I was trying to look for last week. Data context is that the element of the list. So the
yeah,
task view model in this case. So yeah, then just using regular binding, uh, you can get there. So um,
but,
yeah.
but what I'm wondering, wait, if I stop the project running here, that was something I was wondering afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this binding refers to the selected task. No?
Um, that binding should be within the scope of the data context um, for its container. So by the time we get inside of that data template, the data context should already be set to the item view
Okay,
model.
which we do set
Yeah,
probably somewhere. Wait, is the task? No, not in the view model. In
yeah, and
task
the task overview. Yeah.
data context
So
here.
we set the data context of the
Yeah.
task overview window, and then when the task overview uh, view data binds the grid, that binds to a property of that task view model, the list of tasks. And
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, let's
Wait, but then because the
yeah.
delete
So there's
task
our
comment is not a property of.
yeah. I
Wait,
think we
what?
can debug our way into it. So so yeah, the kind of the thread. If you go back to task overview window, um, uh, the XAML, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah. So further on down below you, or actually, I think it's actually yeah, above the columns. That's
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
So here, item source. That's the property that you're binding to the tasks. So so the way the data grid is supposed to work, I believe, uh,
Mm,
other controls with an item source work this way. Is that it takes each element of that collection, and then it sets the data context of the child controls of the data template to each element in that collection.
yeah. Which
So
is the task view model.
yeah, so that's why that binding should work. Now there's a few things that we need to debug to see if it's looking at the right object and if that object is actually exposing that property. But to test that, why don't we go ahead and add to the data template um, something that we can use to diagnose. A really easy way to do this is to change the content. So whereas content right now is just the word delete, instead
Yeah.
you can change that to curly brace binding.
Okay.
And what that's going to
And
do is it's going to take the object that it's bound to, the data context, and it's just going to convert it into a string and then show that inside the button. So that should show
if you
us the
just put
type.
if you just put binding,
Yes, yeah, just
it takes
binding all by
the
itself.
whole to string
It's
to
the
string
whole
of.
data
Okay.
context, and then since content is a string property, it's going to automatically convert it to a string.
Let's see what that does. And then we go to the other. We should ask the people from Zoom to allow to share two screens. But couldn't we do that before?
We can each share on our own side,
One
but
screen. Yeah.
yeah, but we can each get one screen. Yeah.
Add a task. Yeah, I will do that like this.
Mm-hmm.
So use.
And
Ah, yeah.
there's the task
Task.
view model. Yes.
Oh, that's a super way to see what is going on. So
Yeah.
that's good
Nice
news
little
already.
hack. Yes. So it is binding to the task view model. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so what that's telling me is that the task view model actually is not exposing a property um, called delete command. Um, so
There is
yeah, I
there
think
is a
it's
problem here with my code generation
yeah.
that I did that wrong. It's this one.
Yeah, so reshare Visual Studio so I can
Oh,
see that again.
that would indeed help.
Okay, so now the way that I have done relay commands myself is I've not used the relay command attribute. Actually, I didn't know about it. I just created relay commands, uh, set the two methods, the execute and the can execute, and then return or expose that as a property. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so it looks like this. There should be this relay command attribute that does that for you. So
Yeah.
let's double check that it gets generated properly. The code generation, um,
Where is that code that is
yeah,
generated?
it.
Um,
I don't know if it's actually saved to disk. I do remember looking at it at some point in the past. But
this is a view model, so I would think that it would be somewhere here. Task
yeah,
view model.
if you expand that, yeah, okay, so you can see the on client name changing and all those things. Those come from the um,
The code
the
generation.
code generation. In fact, you can see right there delete task command. Aha, interesting. Okay, if you take a look at that property, it's delete task command command.
Delete task. Ah, here. Yeah.
Yeah, and just below that is the name of the property. So, um, so there's the answer. It automatically appends the word
Ah,
command.
okay.
So if we
So
just call that delete task, we are good.
um, let's save that and run that and see whether that works. Well, and again, I have to share main window.
Yeah, and now I've learned about a new, very useful attribute. I've been doing things the hard way.
Well, two things that
Okay.
make me happy. First of all, to see that that you learned something. Secondly, that I was going the way you were going.
Yep.
Uh, problem is, he's still not doing.
Hmm.
If we take, for example, A here.
Okay, and then
No,
yeah, we can also
nothing.
check the binding before you close it. Check the binding errors. see if there's
Wait,
something
I give you
new
back
that
the other
showed up.
screen, then application window. So here we have delete tool. No, where? Not found.
Yeah, that one's just not implemented yet.
Delete. Yeah,
Yeah,
cancel and delete tool, but the other one is okay
yeah.
because it's not there anymore.
Okay, so
So, oh, but
apparently we
wait.
fixed it.
No. It's normal. Here,
Oh,
it's working.
there it is.
Delete task comment. Yeah, it is working. It's not deleting
All right,
because
yeah.
I'm not.
Okay, yeah,
There,
excellent.
something must be wrong if it would be deleting.
Yeah.
Um, so that's first thing is solved. So now in this delete task, I have
Mm-hmm.
to get this async thing inside. And that's still all that async thing is always magic for me.
Yes. So I
So
wonder, since
yeah,
there's a relay command, is there an async relay command
there
attribute?
is this one here. You can do allow concurrent executions is true.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you. Um, and do you see the tip that?
Yes.
So when set for an attribute used on a method, that would result in an async relay comment.
Very nice. So
So
I am curious what happens to the exceptions. Um, so we can figure that out at some point. But yeah, my typical pattern is to use async relay command, and if I remember correctly, then um, I can extract any exceptions that are thrown and then bind them to another part of the screen, and I can even bind to a boolean, if it's running, if it's doing work.
boolean to indicate whether there was an exception or
Uh, there's also a boolean to indicate when it's working. So it
okay.
hasn't, you've clicked it, but it hasn't yet, like it's
Mm.
actively saving. Um,
Let's see what we still have here as other parameters. Um, so we have allow and execute. Flow
hmm,
exceptions to task scheduler.
hmm.
Would that be something? Right. So we are here then. Gets or sets a value indicating whether or not exception should be propagating to task scheduler dot unobserved task exception.
Oh, okay.
Would
Hmm.
that be something?
Yeah, we might take advantage of that. Actually, my pattern has been to completely avoid that unhandled exceptions. Um, but but instead of avoiding them, if we can find a good way to handle them and notify the user that there is an exception, then that might be a better pattern. So yeah, that's something we can explore later.
Hmm.
Yeah, for right now, I think what we want to do is go ahead and allow concurrent executions, and then see if we can change that void to an async task,
Mm-hmm.
and see if this works.
Why do I have two references here?
It should be the data
Oh, now he said,
binding.
yeah, now he said nothing because he.
Oh,
Um, so in that case, take this one. Here.
mm-hmm.
Now, why is Jinaga client is not null here? No, Jinaga client
Yep.
does exist, huh?
Yeah, so
So
it's
that's okay.
because it's awaiting. And so we need to change that from void to
Oh,
async task
async. This and now.
with a capital T. Okay.
So now that should work.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just build and then see what the generated code looks like. So there's our delete task command, and it's using async relay command. Okay. Yeah, so it's creating a new one with a function that returns a task. That's good. So it is using that.
Delete task.
Okay, and then it's setting that option. All right. Okay, so yeah, it looks like that attribute's doing the right thing. It's taking that task and it's giving it back to the relay async relay command.
Let's see what this is doing. Add a first task. Task A. Let's add a second task. Task B. Without selecting, I just delete A, click,
Hey,
and it's gone. B, and it's
there we
gone.
go.
And it's working. This is progress.
Yes.
That's really good. That's really good.
Excellent.
So that was, let's share the other one again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's working. So now automatically, so because here I have can execute
Mm-hmm.
as a parameter of the relay command. So I have this one here for the moment. I just put it through
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't changed the model yet. But so I will change the model and see whether there's any hours already assigned to that task.
Yes.
If it is, you cannot delete it. Otherwise, you can delete it.
Yes,
That
that'll be
will
really
be,
good to see.
yeah, that will be a Jinaka query there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm wondering how it handles can execute changed. Um, that's yeah. So can execute changed is like I don't know if I property changed. It's
Yeah, it handles it automatically.
yeah. So when you add the Janaga specification,
Yeah,
then when it receives a fact like allocating hours, it should raise can execute change. Um, and so the way that it would have to tie that through um, is that you would have to when you get the callback from the specification, from j dot watch, you would need to raise that event somehow.
yeah. And how is that happening?
I do not know. Um, when I
I
when I
will I
manage
will look
the
it up.
yeah, that's something
I will
to
look it
dig
up.
into. Um,
Yeah.
Because yeah, when you manage an async relay command yourself, then there's a message
Mm.
or a method that you can call on it to say, okay, can
Yeah.
execute has changed. So there's got to be some similar mechanism here, because it's really just using the same thing under the covers.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
I will look it up and try it out.
very good, very
Look,
good.
that's
Yeah,
not much progress, but at least a step further in the
yeah,
good
this is
direction.
progress. Yeah, this is good stuff.
Mm. But
Yeah.
like this community toolkit, it handles a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes code quite compact and easy.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. We're both fans of Assisticant. Um,
Mm.
And as I'm thinking through this, I'm like, I know exactly how a Assisticant would solve this problem. Um, but but yeah, making Janaga depend upon Assisticant would limit the adoption of Janaga. People would have to adopt Assisticant first. Um, but then, yeah, shipping an example that just uses Community Toolkit, um, I think is really going to help people to see what Janaga can do. And then when you run into these little, edge cases here where, okay, when that specification changes, I need to, you know, notify
Mm.
property changed on this thing, then, um, then yeah, that's an extra thing you have to think about. Um,
Yeah, but
now,
it was foreseen somewhere. I remember reading about it, but I don't remember.
yeah,
So I will look it up again.
yeah, okay, excellent. Yeah, I'm looking through the. I think I know what the answer is going to be, because I'm looking through the things that are on the right hand side of the screen, everything that's inside of the task view model, and I can see that delete task command is a field right there. So just above that, so the capital D is the property, but the lowercase d is the field, and
Mm-hmm.
so that um, will give you access from the other side to that async relay command. So you can probably just call delete task command dot can execute changed, I think is the name of the method. So yeah,
So in here, I'm gonna call this Jinaga query. And so
yeah,
if it says change, then what was that? Delete task command
yeah. So we got delete task
dot
command, and then
execute. Can execute changed?
it's notify
Not
can
and not.
execute change. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So you call that inside of your subscription callback. Um, yeah. So the subscription itself you won't set up inside of can delete task, but
Mm.
um, you'll set that up in the constructor, I think. But yeah, that's where you'll then
Yeah.
inside of that callback you'll call that.
Yeah, for that watch, the Jinaga watch, you mean?
Right. Yes. Yes. Janaka watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how you would hook that up.
Mm. But let me. I will have a look at that and make it run for the next time.
Very
No more
good.
questions.
No more
No more
questions.
questions.
Excellent. Yeah, that is pretty nice. Yeah.
Well, we will be getting nice code this way.
Yeah. Very cool. Yep. So yeah, on my side, progress continues on the code launch application. I've um, I've asked a couple of improvers who happen to be on the bench at the moment if they wanted to help out. So we're getting them onboarded, and yeah, the onboarding tasks that we went over the last 2 weeks, um, those are kind of complex. So yeah, they're not having a great time just getting their development environment set up. So yeah, um, I was working on a way that I could just call the FusionAuth API and at least take all of the FusionAuth configuration out of your hands, and you just run this
Mhm.
script, and then it calls the API. Um, and yeah, I was able to use AI to generate something that does that. It got a few things wrong, and so that's it's still not quite working. Um, yeah, uh, yeah, that puts me on this fence. I really love showing people how things work. I mean, that's kind of
Mhm.
what I do. um, and yeah, then here are a couple of people that is like, I have a few hours. Let me just get something done. Say, well, don't you want to see how all this works? No, I just want to run a script and get it done. Um, and then if this script fails, like if I were to give them the script that I've currently got, it would fail, um, and they wouldn't know why. They wouldn't know, wouldn't be able to figure out what went wrong. Um, So yeah, that's kind of the conundrum I'm in. It's like, okay, do I abstract this even further and just make it completely automated, completely hidden from you? Um, do I let you suffer through all of the things so that you understand how things fit together? Uh,
Mm.
yeah, it's a it's a challenge.
Perhaps the two. First, work with an automatic setup, and once people get started, then go deeper and explain how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually that's not a bad idea. That's uh, because it's sort of like learning to speak a new language. You it's easier to it before you can really speak. You need to hear it. um, before you can understand it, yeah, you still need to be able to listen and pick words apart. Because
Mm.
yeah, with like when I learned a little bit of Spanish so I could navigate Mexico. Um, yeah, I was I'm still kind of at this point where if somebody just speaks too quickly, I don't know if they've you know, if they've said any words that I know. It's like they're kind of
Mm.
mixed in with everything else. Um, so
You
yeah,
find
like
the rhythm of the language.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I know the numbers, for example, and yeah, and I asked somebody quanto questo, or I think is the right phrase now. How much does that cost? And they said a thing, and it's like I don't even know if there were numbers in what they just said. And then I had to,
Mm.
kind of slow down and think about it. And while I was still thinking about it, they pulled out their phone and they typed it into a calculator and showed me the price. And then
Mm.
once I saw the price, I was like, okay, I remember you said those numbers. Okay, yes. so, so yeah,
Mm.
you have to hear it, and then you have to, understand it. Um, yeah, and then that makes it easier to speak it. Uh,
Because
they
if
kind
you
of
start
build.
analyzing it, you don't have time. You have to like instant recognition of the sounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think learning Janaga is the same way. Yeah,
Mm.
you have to see it. Yeah, and say, like, this looks weird. Okay, I guess this is what things look like here.
Mm.
And then you can start to pick it apart and say, oh, that's a specification. That's that doesn't do a thing. That just describes a thing. Okay, uh, and then you glance over at distribution rules and you say, hey, wait a minute, I see specifications there too now. Okay, yeah. So that's uh, that's all starting to fit together, and then ultimately you get to
Yeah.
the point where it's like I can change things. I can add something to my specification. I can see it says forbidden. Oh, okay, that means I need to go over to my distribution rules and make the same change over there. Okay, now it's working. Before you can brand new project.
Mm. I think it depends if you have people who know everything around it, who are very good in WPF, XAML, Link, who knows React, all the stuff around Jinaga, then it should be not too difficult to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you miss a few of these bases, then then it becomes
Yeah,
complicated.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That is true. These people they know React very well. Um, and in a way, that's also a bit of a hindrance, but we can get back to that too. But yeah, one of the some of the other things that are kind of around it are fusion auth, the authentication mechanism,
Application.
um, and yeah, uh, yeah they've not used fusion auth certainly because
Mm.
that's not a really popular one, but when they have used authentication, it's because they or their team set it up once and then they could forget about it, um, which is the case here too. Except they're in the process of okay, I need to set it up once. Um, yeah, and so yeah, knowing everything around it before you learn Janaga is valuable. But then on the other hand, the thing that I've been seeing here is that um, I'm getting questions about, well, how does this, which data management state management library does this application use? And I say uses Janaga. um,
Mm.
yeah, so there's like, oh, is it Redux? Is it Mobx state tree? Is it yeah? What are you doing? Janaga does that. Um, so they have to forget about the patterns that they're used to for calling an API and then parsing the response and then putting that data into some state store and then subscribe or pulling state from the state store inside of um, a hook and all those patterns. They have to learn that those patterns don't need to happen.
Yeah, that it's a whole different thing. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, it's after a while. I've been hearing for it now for years, and there are certain things which are logic for me,
Mm-hmm.
although there is still a lot of magic.
Yeah.
But but I think for somebody who's completely new to it, yeah, you don't know where it comes from. Read the book first.
Well, they only have a few hours. They've got other things that they're doing while they're on the bench. So
Mm.
yeah, that's a lot to ask. It's like, okay, here's this whole thing, just bonk, and then all
Mm.
right, now that you're done with that, and you don't understand how the world works, then we're going to put this together. We're going to show you an
Or
example.
just or just a small sample application like DWS.
Mm-hmm.
Once we are a little bit further and we have a few screens with different combinations of usage,
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody looks into that because that will not be overly complicated with the right patterns, with the right choices. Perhaps they will faster understand the possibilities just by seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope so. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm finding that this particular application is fairly fairly small. There's not too much going on with it, but it's it's already a lot of a lot of things to keep in mind. Um, like let me go ahead
Yeah,
and
but also there you need somebody who knows C Sharp, who knows WPF, who knows a little bit of community toolkit.
mm-hmm.
And if you miss one of these items, yeah, then it becomes more complicated.
Yeah, yeah. In the case of DWS, there's lots of things around it, and yeah. Yeah, in the case of the this code launch application, um, one of the things that kind of is weird, people have a hard time understanding, is this idea of the single use principle. Why is that whole thing necessary? So if I go to the attendee application, then I've got this custom hook in here. Well, that's use attendee info. There is use attendee event. That's the one.
Mhm. That's
Um,
what we do in DWS as well. Huh? There is first a single use principle who makes a
yeah.
supplier, who makes a dispatcher,
Yes.
a user.
Yes. And actually, yeah, I was uh, in the wrong application. It's actually in the admin application. Tenants. Uh, right here. Use tenants. So um, So yeah, the first thing is while you are setting things up, one of the steps
Mhm.
is go to the tenants page and and click that button. to, oops, not that one, that one. So yeah, before you do that, create a tenant. So yeah, you have to go to this tenant screen, click the plus button and hit copy, and then put that into your environment local. And it's like, you know, what's that all about? And it's going to create this tenant public key.
Mm.
But what that's what that's doing is yeah, it's calling this create tenant method right here. Yeah, so j.single use. So give me a single use principal. That's going to be my creator here. And then create a new tenant with that creator. And then um, make the user an administrator. And so yeah, these two facts are created within the scope of that creator, that single use principal. So they
Mm.
are digitally signed with that guy's private key, which then goes away. So yeah, that's a weird pattern. Nobody does that. So
Yeah.
yeah, and you're hit with that um, right when you're trying to set things up. You have to hit that button. You have to copy that. You have to put it in there, and then you have to restart everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what was that all about? Um, and yeah, if there's a business reason for creating a multi-tenant application, um, then you can kind of say, well, this is the reason. It's because we want different companies to be able to host their data within this one service. So we create a tenant for each one. So okay, I get that. But then that becomes part of the that company onboarding. It's like, okay, sign up for your service, give us your payment, and then here, let's create a tenant, and then it does all this stuff behind the scenes, and you say, all right, now you're in your tenant. Here's your URL, kind of like visualstudio.com. That's a multi-tenant application by by necessity, because we've got like I can go here, improving.visualstudio.com. Need to do my multi-factor authentication, blah blah blah. And not that one. It is that one. So bring that over here. Yeah. So, oops. Back to that. But back to this. Okay. So, yeah, here's our Launch Kings application. But yeah, you can see up here, improving.visualstudio.com. So visualstudio.com is a multi-tenant application, and improving is a
Mm.
tenant, and then you've got projects within it. So with a business, compelling business reason, it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, um, with this, just here, follow these steps to set things up, and then you have to create a tenant. It's this is a little extra work that somebody has to do just one time, but still they have to do it, and they don't have a business reason for it. So that causes some friction.
Yeah, but is that the biggest problem? I
Yeah.
mean,
Um,
the
I,
time they have to put in there is two times nothing compared with the whole project.
I know that that's true. They don't know that's true yet. um,
Mm.
yeah, that's really just the friction. Yeah, ideally I would be able to just eliminate friction, get you immediately started, and then um, you can work with things around you that you don't understand, but at least you know the thing that's here. So it's like I say, okay, inside of the app, I want you to work on the attendee application, and then yeah, right here inside of the events. Here's the um, where was that? Maybe it was inside of, or I'm probably on the wrong branch. Anyway, um, but yeah, I want you to work on this page, or maybe I say I want you to work on this page. So you're like, okay, I see that yeah, I'm doing some use states. I understand that. I'm doing a use effect. That's great. Um, and then um, there's this handle submit that is calling this attendee info set attendee info, and that all comes from this attendee information form props. This attendee info is the attendee info view model. So it's like, okay, so I'm completely comfortable right here inside of React, and I can just work on this form as long as somebody else has managed that part for me. If I'm one level out, oh, the allocation page is actually what I want them to work on. But yeah, if I'm one level out here, so here I'm setting the attendee info, but I'm calling this custom hook. Even then, they're like, okay, it's a custom hook. You know, Michael's got that. Yeah, I'm on this side of it. But yeah, the people that I'm working with are not like that's your side, this is my side. They're like, what's under there? And so,
Mm.
what's all this? And then they see, okay, right off the bat, there's something new. I have no idea what that is. And yeah, so one of them even before I was able to sit down and kind of go over things with him, he said, "Oh, yeah, this is coming from the model. Kind of traced it back there. Oh, that's coming from this Janaga thing. So, hey, let's look that up." And he ended up exactly where I would want him to be, and he was like,
Mm.
"Okay,
Documentation.
so I recognize this part, but then." What's all this? This is so much. Yeah, this is just a single one-liner, and you've got that. So then we had the conversation about, well, this is what it's really doing, but I wanted to reuse some things and make them, really, really easy um, to to see, really easy to parse.
Mm.
So yeah, if we go back to the model, and actually now for this I'm gonna switch back here because it's easier to navigate. But let me go to the code launch TS. This is the model code. So we were just looking at attendee information dot current is what we were looking at right here. So yeah, that's just a static method that takes an attendee and it does that crazy stuff that you just saw on in the documentation.
Mm.
So so yeah, as soon as they look under the covers, it's like, oh, this is this is new, this is weird. Yeah, and yeah, I in some situations I would be working with people who are like, okay, this is the project. I am on this project. This is my task. Um, I'm curious, but I'll move forward with my task. Um, and then since this is my project, I've got time to explore my curiosity and learn. But in this case, I'm working with people that this is just one of many bench projects that I've got. I can spend a couple of hours on this, and yet I'm still curious, and I've got all
Mm.
these patterns that I don't see here, and and so are things actually working?
Yeah, but the next time it will go better
Mm-hmm.
because it will take time to really understand it. Um,
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's just going to take getting more and more people exposed to this
Mm.
stuff. Um, yeah, so that there's a next time. Yeah, because you know, somebody hits the bench, we find them in another contract, and then they're off to work on that for another 6 months, a year. Meantime, somebody else hits the bench. All right, introduce them. Um, so
But
there's
once, yeah.
yeah. On the one hand, okay, do that enough times, and enough people will get familiar with it, that they'll see it again and say, oh, now I see how this is better than the work that I was just doing for this client. Um,
Mm.
because all of these things that I was doing for this client and the multiple days that took, this is like 2 lines over here. Um, and so that's where I want to get. In the meantime, I'm exposing a bunch of people to things that are unfamiliar. They get, they get to that point of confusion, of just why isn't this working the way that I'm used to, and then they're off. And so I
Mm.
might just be leaving a trail of discontent along the way. That's the risk.
That's with all new technology.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go into a learning curve, and once you get over the hill, then it goes faster. But
Mm-hmm.
to go up, it's difficult. Um, but I think once the technology is really proven, like now what you're doing at Code Lounge,
Mm-hmm.
is really great, because there people will see, wow, this new technology is reliable, it works, and you can achieve all this in a limited time.
Mm-hmm.
Things which would not be possible with standard technology.
Yeah.
So automatically, all these people will become curious, especially because it's all about programming. All the people involved are
Mm-hmm.
programmers,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a few.
And in addition to the programmers involved, there are the startups, the people who are running businesses.
Mm.
I really want them to hear the Janaga story, which was that part about you can build this quickly, and it's solid. So
Mm.
it's not throwaway technology. It's something you can rely upon, and it's still something that's done quickly.
And of course, people who are under a lot of pressure to meet deadlines now and who don't have time to invest in new technology,
Mm-hmm.
well, they will not use it. At least not until it is used by everybody.
Yeah.
But people are really interested and who have a little bit time to invest, even in the evening in their private time,
Mm-hmm.
they will do it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the next hurdle to get over. It's
Mm.
like, oh, okay, I get why this is better. Now I want to build a business. Um, that means I need to find people who are familiar with this technology, and I can find people who know Redux and who know uh, yeah, use what is that? Use query is a method, is a hook inside of um, well, it's query is in the name of the library, um, but yeah, so I can find people who know that, um, and I can find people who know how to build APIs and build
Mm.
databases, and um, so yeah, even though I don't need to do any of these things here, I can find people who know how to do them. Uh, so yeah, that's going to be the next hurdle. Is that no, it really is worth it to train new people.
Because if you see in informatics, there have been so many hypes,
Mm-hmm.
new things that everybody wanted to know, and finally, it worth it? Um, but from time to time, there are things which are really good.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you can prove that a technology is really worth it, that it saves a lot of time, a lot of problems, that it's very structurized, uh, I think automatically people will,
Mm-hmm.
because it's making them money. And that's finally what,
Hmm.
what most of the companies want.
Yeah, that's true.
Not because it's nice code, or not because it's interesting.
Hmm.
That are the poor guys like me.
Yeah.
I find it interesting, so
Yeah.
I waste my time. Um, but but really, companies who want to to earn as much money as possible, if they have a technology which allows them to earn a lot of money,
Hmm.
well, they will go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is
But
ultimately the thing.
mm,
Yeah, it's kind of funny that yeah. So yeah, ultimately the thing is that the people who run the business don't care about the code. They care about the solution that the code supports, and the solution is more than the code. It's also their people. It's also their networks. It's also their business processes.
mm,
And the code's just one part of that. And so yeah, the companies don't care about the code. And the funny thing is that when I when I show people Janaga, sometimes um, the it comes back around to, well, that's great, but nobody cares about the code. They care about getting things done, and we can get things done with this stuff. um, and that's yeah, that completely misses the point that with this stuff brings with it a lot of technical debt. You get
mm,
up and running pretty quickly. You have people who know what's working, but then um, every new feature is change to the database, a new set of APIs, new security rules.
mm,
You're manually coding those security rules, um, so you have to look for new vulnerabilities that you might have introduced, um, and yeah, it's like, okay, nobody cares about security vulnerabilities until they're in the news, and then you care. Uh, so it's like, or this, and then things don't slow down. You keep on
mm,
going at the same pace. Uh, so yeah, it's yeah, we're still at that
mm.
trying to add energy to the flywheel stage.
Well, you need to reach a certain momentum,
Yeah.
and I think you've got already very far. I remember in the beginning there
Hmm.
was nothing that was really working, but now you have a complete environment
Hmm.
with security, with authorization, distribution rules, um, which is used in some good sample applications,
Hmm.
runs on different platforms. So it's amazing what you have realized so far. Um, but it takes time
Yeah. Yes, it
before people
does.
see it, before people adopt it, and it starts slowly by some people, and then more and more and more, and
Hmm.
um, perhaps you have to wait another 50 years, so it will be post-mortem.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
No,
I'll just make sure that it's all open source, and it's like, hey, it's there. Um, yeah, I'll make sure that
no,
the
that
LLMs are trained on it so that they
mm,
start to suggest it.
mm. No, in informatics things go faster,
Hmm.
but before something takes off, it takes a long time, even with internet
Yeah,
today. Um,
yeah, very true. All right.
but perhaps one moment it's so difficult to say. Um, it might be that Code Lounge application
Hmm.
generates so much interest um, that the balls start rolling.
Yep, that is my
Um,
hope. That is my hope. And maybe it starts with a whole bunch of contracts coming into improving. It's like, yes, we want to build what you just built. You say it's powered by Janaga. Sure, go ahead, do that. Um, and then it's like, okay, we have these contracts. We need to train these people, and now I've got people whose job it is to get up to speed on this. And so even though if they're like, but this isn't what I'm used to, it's like, okay, let's keep on going. Okay, now you're past that, and now you're to the point where it's like, okay, this actually makes my job easier. Great. Now let's keep on rolling.
because companies want to have people who know the technology, but you cannot expect that there are
Hmm.
thousands of people who know Jinaga today.
Right.
And once people start using it, of course,
Hmm.
Yeah, but I find it amazing what you did so far,
Excellent. Thank you.
as well from a technological point of view, as from the marketing,
Hmm.
um, because all the shows you did, all
Hmm.
um, the demos you've given, um, it was a lot of work,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that was back before I could just generate them. Now
Yeah.
I can tell a story and then it says, okay, here's the demo that goes with it. Perfect.
Mm. No, but the good thing is you're extremely good in technology,
Hmm.
and you're extremely good in explaining things as well as a teacher.
Mm. Yes, thank you.
Um,
I've
and I think there are very few people who master both of them,
mm,
who are very good speakers and at the same time very well in technology. Um,
yeah. Yeah, that's
and
true.
very driven.
Yeah, that's very true. And I get a chance to hang out with most of them once a year.
Mm.
Because most of them are Pluralsight authors.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
also that uh, all these people, if
Hmm.
they see that that technology is working,
Yeah.
perhaps they will not be using it, but they will be very good ambassadors.
Yeah. They are the hardest audience to shift though. Yeah, they are the ones that already have the patterns. They're already saying okay, like yeah, take Steve Smith for example. So he's talking about using .NET, creating creating clean architectures using .NET. Talking about entity framework, um, and and bringing in different libraries that kind of help to support the story that he's telling. And he's very successful teaching a lot of people, this stack, this architecture, and how it integrates with their career. So it's like you you learn to use entity framework like this and you can become a senior developer. You learn to create architectures like this and you can become that tech lead. And so yeah, that combination, he's really got it locked in, and it's really successful. And so to say, hey, change. This is a
Mhm.
a better architecture than the one that you're teaching. It's like, no, why would
Yeah,
I do that?
mm. Yeah, but on the other side, once he's convinced that there is something better, he
Hmm.
has no choice. Um, the the success of Jinaga will be his success as well.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I think that transition will be an and that it's like, okay, these
mm,
the clean architecture thing that still works. There's a whole section in the book right there at the beginning, and the end of chapter one. Why when you would not use historical modeling. That's great for those. Let's talk about this other architecture uh, for the things you would use historical modeling for. And it can
mm,
start like this, and it can kind of take over and then find the right place. I think it's going to be kind of like this, but yeah, it starts here, and um, yeah, so that's ultimately what I want to see.
mm. But a lot of problems have already been solved now,
Mm-hmm.
and by making applications, we will still encounter a lot of problems where
Yes,
solutions have to be found. Um, but it will improve Jinaga step by step
yes, indeed.
and show people how to use Jinaga to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people care about. So
Yeah. Well, I think that is a good message to end the show.
mm,
So
oh yeah,
yeah,
it's
it is. It is overtime.
mm, good. I'm gonna look further into DWS, make it work step by step.
Excellent.
thanks to your input.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, okay, we were just right there.
Yeah, but alone it's not working.
Mm.
I really need your advice and your help there because and so step by step we will be getting there.
Yeah, yeah, it was literally a second pair of eyes. It's like,
Mm,
let's look over here. Oh, right there.
mm,
Double the word.
mm. That's it. That's the advice of an expert. Um, yeah,
Hey, and you get that one for free.
yeah, that's a good thing. I'm in a privileged position.
Yes.
Good. Michael, thanks you very much.
Thank you.
So next Thursday, yeah, I will be there. No problem.
Excellent. All right. I will see you
Okay.
then.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.